So it is Moon and Me time, and Moon and Me. Moon and Me again, all about you. This moon in Virgo is a new moon. So what I want to expand on right now is that no all new moons are the same, and these lunar cycles may seem repetitive as they're new moons, full moons, new moons, full moons, but the truth is that what changes the dynamics and what changes everything for you today is where have you been in the past, okay? What do you remember? What have you resolved? What have you healed? And what have you reorganized, right? So if we just step into what's for you here today, is probably one of the grandest and greatest opportunities for you to reset your mind. Now I need you to hear that again. This new moon opens the doorway, all right, for you to have a reset. And so how, why, what, all these things come from the lineup of planets, the numerology of the cosmic lineup, if you may, right? And all the karmic disturbances leading up to this grand awakening. This is not only just me, you, and the rest of the globe. This is you right now with your own thoughts, with your own emotional capacity to let go and resolve of whatever disturbances are here, okay? And for you to get an understanding of what's here for you. So we have two incredible, actually we have three incredible warriors and workers of the work here, listening and being part of Moon and Me. So we're going to have some questions here. But what I want you to understand here is what's your opportunity in this lunar cycle? One, look at where you are from a clean slate. Now, for example, this is a clean room. There might be like, things that you might feel, well, I'm not used to the space, or, the fresh smell of the paint might be interfering with the way you're thinking, or you might get triggered by, just the bland white canvas. And so what this means in your chart is that no matter where you are, you being part of a Virgo, you being part of the cosmic zodiac, somewhere in your chart you have a Virgo. And Virgo today, right, is saying you're coming in to really nurture and service, okay, what you're serving from a zero ground opportunity, okay? It's like the planets have gone to zero. So think of a resetting. How do you reset yourself today, knowing what you know, having the experience that you have had, and what you want? So you've got to look at what is it that you want right now that comes from a higher sector or a higher phase or a higher aspect of yourself. And when I say higher, it means that you are in a state of well-being, not you wanting something because you're angry, okay, at your neighbor, or you're angry at your husband, or you're angry at your friend, or you're angry at your neighborhood, or you're angry at the schools, or you're angry at society, or you're angry with social media, whatever. If you're wanting something because you're trying to prove a point out of anger, is that want and that desire coming in from a space of your higher good? I mean, that's how simple it is, right? It becomes complex when you are not able to resolve that from a place of understanding. And that brings on a combustion feeling, right? So you've got to let go of the old way to reset. So think about what you would need in this cycle of Moon and Me. So what Moon and Me does, it teaches you, or it raises your awareness, right, that you act out a certain way with these moon cycles. So for those that have been working the Moon and Me, you already know. I have people here that already already working Moon even before Moon gets here. You're on that wave already. You're on that thread, right? So you've got to look at, so Virgo is saying, I'm coming in, okay, with this intuitive and this sensitivity, okay, to the details that are needed to reset. So where Virgo comes in and gives you a little bit of a contrast is, with everything there's that duality, right? And you have to remember that, okay? As much as there is the sun, okay, there is the moon. And the sun is you being the creator. The moon is your emotional self. And that's what Moon teaches you. You are the creator of your life. What are you creating this new moon in Virgo? So what I want to raise your awareness to, okay, is that no matter what, and there's a poignant smell of fresh paint, Molly. Are you able to overcome, okay, a chemical reaction that maybe your body's become allergic to in a situation that you could either sabotage yourself or enrich yourself? And that's pretty much where that is, right? So clean slates trigger many, many aspects of your psyche, okay? The choices to sometimes become clearer also command, okay, the mental state, the emotional state, and the spiritual state of being to also be clear. So we have to be a little bit intuitive of what we're asking of ourselves. And mostly, what are we asking from others? Okay, because too often, one, we're reacting to their chaos without resetting our own way of understanding who we are. And so we had a little conversation now. It's like, how do you react to somebody? You know, how do you respond to that? Because what's here on the lineup, if you go and read your Moon and Me script and that membership piece of what you get, and you read it, Pluto's there. So the transformation's already happened. How you handle the transformation is going to now reset, rebirth, or rewire you. And that's where you want to be. You want to give yourself the utmost opportunity to do this. Because this new moon in Virgo is not going to come around at this zero setting in your lifetime. Depends how old you are. But that zero setting with this lineup of planetary alignment, no. So it calls on, okay, for you to be awoken to, okay, what's of value for you, what's important, okay, and how do you now let go of seeing something that you don't like? How do you let go of speaking something that is important to you, right? How do you let go of the noise around you? How do you let go, okay, of circumstantial events that you're now finding in a way that this is not even my fault? How do you let go of that? So this is where now it gets really, really, really good, because as you go through this, do you have any questions? Because as you go through this, you start to understand, wait a minute, this is my opportunity to reset. What am I resetting? Everything that's got to do with the mind, right? Because you cannot reset Virgo. Virgo is as the sun is, as the moon is, as all the other zodiacs are. It's a general aspect of what that frequency and vibration constitutes for, right? So how do you do this? And this is why I talk about the I am thread. You do this efficiently, okay, with resolve, with your thread. So let's look at your threads. right? How does this impact you? So I said, okay, so what you've got to go do now is like, all right, so if you are a Virgo and you're on this new moon with Virgo, what do? Because the I am presence in the thread is I serve in Virgo. So Virgo is touching everybody this new moon. So you now have got to say, all right, so what am I serving? And does it serve me? And does it serve me in my higher self? Or am I serving my lower needs? So if you're a double Virgo, what would that sound like, Dana?
I serve.
And then there's that. So is what she's serving her, right? And if you're a feeler in Cancer, okay, like Meredith, what is yours?
I feel I serve.
No, how do I feel about what I'm serving? And then you know, right? And Molly is a philosopher, so it's probably, are the thought forms that I'm having serving me? Or which thought forms am I serving through my own philosophy?
We'll see more about serving though,
So I am presence is I serve, right? So that's the symbol of Virgo. So Virgo comes with I serve. And this is a servitude to yourself, to others, and then eventually to humanity, right? So one, your cosmic sun as being the creator, okay, supports you to understand that you're creating your life. How? By the way you think and by the way you feel. Your I am presence that's attached to all of these threads, okay, gives you your map. It gives you your map to your own blueprint, because you've got to understand you're a soul that's chosen your very specific stars, alignment, planets, the day you're born. That's why birthdays are so important, right? You choose the day you're born. You choose your planetary alignment. You choose the continent you're born with. You choose the culture you come to. You choose your parents. You choose, everything's already been chosen. And that's why it goes now into the next phase of really understanding how you know yourself. Moon in me is a great catalyst to awakening that, because you start realizing you have a pattern of thought forms every new moon, every full moon. You start catching yourself reacting, responding, knowing, remembering.
Well, on that, catching yourself reacting, knowing, and with me being a Virgo and with I serve.
Right.
And I've been with you 17 years working this that long.
Right.
That I know as a Virgo, there are times that I was serving,
an older aspect of you.
But it was also, if we go into the personality traits of some Virgos, it was the shadow side or the whatever side to come in. It would critical, whatever.
And it's not whatever. You want to know the benefics of your star sign, and you want to know the shadow aspects of your star sign, so that you can, what we did here today with Molly, so that you can have the benefics of being the alchemist and transforming a negative. And it's not a negative in a bad way. It's a shadow side, so that can be brought into the light. You, Dana, as a double Virgo right now, with the work that you've got under your belt, all right, you are called into the opportunity, gateway, runway, and thread to reset yourself for a fresh start.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not only you, it's everybody. You've got an opportunity. So for Dana being a Virgo, on this Virgo moon, she would have to reset how she's serving. Okay? For you, Molly, it would be how you philosophize. Because you are born what day? You're a Sagittarian, right? And Meredith, you what?
Cancer.
You're a Cancer. So your house that houses this cosmic astrology of wisdoms is here to support you. No matter what your environment is, okay, you've got an opportunity to reset something so that you're not chemically, okay, or emotionally or mentally triggered, poked, or invoked. That's a great word for this moon, okay? Because new settings require new beliefs, right? And too often we don't see, this is why I suggest the Durgas, the solvers, the salts, and these tools that are element based, okay, to purify these elements and these atoms and this energy force field that you've got around you by feelings and thought forms that you cannot see, but that are creating some kind of triggers and creating allergies, and they're creating fogginess and creating headaches and creating emotional triggers and creating a pollution that we have adopted as normal life, which it is. But now if you're taking medication for this, you are now numbing yourself versus purifying yourself. And that's what Moon and Me is about. Moon and Me teaches you, and it doesn't teach you anything because if you don't do it, it raises your awareness to the cycles, and it teaches you to stay in rhythm with the universal flow and rhythmic pattern, okay? Because more so now than ever, you're going to need that, because our algorithms through our electronic platforms and social life and lifestyles don't support these rhythms. Night becomes day, day becomes night, seasons are interchanged. You can get strawberries out of season, you eating fruits that are not a par with the nutrients. There is no honor and respect for those aspects that bring in the true code of living. Enjoying a fruit for the rightful season, understanding its true harvest time, understanding when to truly cut your hair, truly to plant, all these things that are so important, the ebbs and flows of a natural sacred ground. And all of it is important, okay, and for efficiency, but right now, it is only you that can emotionally and mentally shift your alignment into a 0-degree lineup to reset your mind. So how would you do that? So I want to give you some tips here. How would you do that? You've got to go see where you are mentally. Okay? Do you have the space for anything else? Do you have the emotional capacity to forgive, let go, and walk away? Do you have the empathy to let somebody go through their own journey and fall if they have to? Do you have the sensitivity to know we are all on the same struggle bus of elevating ourselves and taking ourselves into higher ground? But it's only you that has the power to reset this so that you're able to honor yourself. And that goes big on me too. It's easier said than done.
So what are the tips?
So the tip is, okay, take the time. Ask these questions to yourself. Okay, because if you don't have that mind, if you're angry with somebody, you're not resetting. If you're fighting with somebody, you're not resetting. If you have got anger in your heart and you're getting triggered by other people's doings, you're not resetting. Okay? If you're getting pulled.
I'm not. I'm over all that. I've already done this moon like a week ago.
Right, because you've been on the thread, so you've got momentum. And I want to talk about that. Okay? You want to be ahead of the game. All right? But you also want to be able to stay present. Right? In this present state of being. All right, so here's your tip. Write it down. See if you are present. Okay? Because if you're too behind in the past, you're going to miss it. If you're too ahead, you're going to ignore it because it's already been done. Okay, so you've just got to stay very, very still and be here. The other thing that's going to help you with this mental fog is the fire. So anything that you can do to write and burn, breathe in and bring in your breath more into your belly, and to just allow the purification, clearing your home, looking at your desires, anything that builds the fire, you know, doing things that you absolutely love, belly laughs, all these things create the fire. And if you're not, then you need to burn it. I suggest Durga, right? It's your quickest one. But if you can't, there's a lot of people that don't even understand what Durga is. It's not this community. If you're on Moon and Me, you have access to Durga. Use it. If you can't get Durga and you can't light it up, write and burn. And if you can't go do that, go sit and go breathe for 30 seconds, 30 minutes, 3 minutes, and burn that ugly away. Because if you don't, it will come up, because it needs to be acknowledged and admitted. So these are the tips that I would go to. The other big tip that I would do right now is pay attention to your connection. Your number one ray of light is your connection. And are you connecting to your higher cone, or are you connecting to your lower cone? And stay there. And in the next couple of days, I'm going to be giving you a little bit more information. We're going to start building this momentum to keep you moving forward. All right? Moon and Me, happy new moon. Stay good and stay strong.